This is what control looks like. Not tension. Not rigidity. Not force. Control doesn't shout. It doesn't overcorrect. It doesn't need to dominate the room to be felt. Real control is quiet. It shows up in restraint, in timing, in knowing when to move and when not to. Most people confuse control with aggression. They think it means clenching tighter, pushing harder, doing more. But that's not control. That's panic wearing confidence. Control is the absence of urgency. It's being steady when things accelerate. It's staying grounded when expectations rise. It's choosing not to react even when reaction feels justified. That takes discipline. Because impulse is easy. Reaction is automatic. But control is trained. It's built through repetition, through pauses, through choosing long-term alignment over short-term relief. This is what control looks like. You don't rush your words. You don't rush your decisions. You don't rush your identity. You move with intention because you're not trying to prove momentum. You already know where you're going. Control shows in how you carry yourself, in your posture, in your pace, and how little you need to explain. You don't fill silence. You don't chase validation. You don't negotiate your standards just to feel accepted. Because controlled men aren't seeking approval. They're maintaining structure. They understand something most people don't. The louder someone needs to be, the less control they actually have. Control doesn't posture. It holds. It holds pressure. It holds discomfort. It holds uncertainty without folding. That's why control looks calm, even when things are heavy. Especially when things are heavy. Most people lose control when conditions change, when timelines tighten, when outcomes feel uncertain. That's when they speed up. That's when they overtalk. That's when they abandon restraint. But controlled men slow down. They narrow their focus. They simplify decisions. They remove excess. Because control isn't about doing more. It's about governing yourself. Your energy. Your attention. Your reactions. You stop letting everything have access to you. You stop responding to noise. You stop confusing motion with progress. That's what control looks like. It looks like patience, like selectiveness, like being unbothered by things that used to pull you off center. Not because you don't care, but because you care deeply about the right things. Control is choosing depth over display, foundation over flash, substance over speed. It's knowing that if you build correctly, you won't need to scramble later. And that if you move with intention, you won't have to recover from chaos. This is the phase where identity solidifies, where discipline stops being effort and becomes instinct, where calm isn't a mood, it's a byproduct of structure. This is what control looks like. No urgency, no excess, no explanation, just clarity, just alignment, just presence. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to rush outcomes. You don't need to announce progress. Because when control is real, it's felt, not performed. This is Ritual POV. This is what control looks like.